In this video, I want to talk about how you can take some simple ad creatives and make some adjustments to your ads to get 3 times the performance at half the cost. I'm going to go over the strategy, show you some super specific examples, and how you can start implementing this today. And we're really going to start by going into the free school group here, the Predictable Profits Mastermind. You can join below, and we're going to grab both the training notes that go along with this, and then as I kind of work through everything, I'm going to show you some hook examples that we use so you can get the ground running and actually start generating some new creative and new ideas to make these variations that cut your costs in half, as well as an AI prompt that goes along with it. If you want access to these things, just join the group and we'll go from there. So with that being said, why your ad performance matters and why is it so important to try to get these costs down? Well, if you can deploy the correct ad hooks, ad variations, and the right adjustments, you can get way more clicks, up to 3 times more, which is what we've seen, and I'll show you an example of that, at 50% lower costs, and we've proven this out over hundreds of different tests. So this is backed on data of examples that have actually worked for a lot of our clients and the people that we've worked with, and I'm going to walk through all of that here in just a minute. And the first step here is really just making sure you hook like a human. And let me actually make my screen here a bit smaller. So what does that actually mean? Well, it actually means grabbing the attention. And the first thing is identifying what's a weak hook and what is a scroll stopping hook. So a weak hook could be these kinds of examples here. Need help with your Facebook ads, introducing our new service, check out this limited offer. They're super generic versus if you went with a more direct response advertising approach, you'll get these scroll stopping hooks, which serve as really great examples here. This 9-word change dropped my ad cost by 73%. I almost deleted my ad strategy until, and here's the targeting hack they don't want you to know. If you can lead with a shocking statistic, a big claim, a big swing, these are things that are going to stop people scroll while they're on social media and while they're looking at different things online and get them to pay attention with what you have to say, which is super important. And the hook is really everything. Whether you're doing a video or you're just writing copy or it's an image creative, the first 3 seconds that people will watch of the video or the first line or two that people will read in your copy really determines success. And ideally, if you can test 5 to 10 hooks every single week, you'll be finding new winners like clockwork. And I'll show you how we actually go about that with a really cool AI tool here. But first, I just want to show you an example. So this is an example that we did with a client where all we did was test a ton of different intros. You can see that over the course of the past month, and we actually only launched these more recently, but over this time period, we generated simply from just changing the first 5 seconds or so of the video. We didn't even make any brand new creative. It took us maybe a few minutes to adjust the hook. We got an extra 190 purchases at $49 a purchase. With their average order value being around $90, we effectively doubled ad spend on every single purchase that we generated by not really creating anything new besides just iterating on what's actually been working, which is super cool. So before I kind of go over what this should look like and some examples, it's all about writing copy that converts, whether it's in the first few seconds of a video or the first few lines. And how do you actually do that? And I want to give you an example here, and then I'll actually show you in the ad account how I like to set up these tests, and then we'll go from there. So first things first, act like you're speaking to one person, write like you're texting a friend, not like you're addressing a crowd. Use conversational language, just write how you talk. Try to avoid that corporate jargon or trying to throw in fancy words just for the sake of doing it. You want it to feel very personal and conversational, and then always end with a clear CTA. I see a lot of people make this mistake. They think it's very obvious what to do on their ad at the end of it. But a lot of people aren't in the advertising world all the time. So if you don't end with a strong CTA, you're going to lose people at the end of the day. So that being said, let's kind of go into some examples and how I would actually do this. And I want to first off start with showing an example of what these different video hooks could look like. And then I'll kind of go into what some of the copy hooks could look like as well. Okay, so this is an example for a product that we're running, and you can see here this is all the same video. The only difference at the beginning is the first maybe 3 to 10 seconds where the intro has been changed. So you'll see here, I'll mute the sound, but the person is talking for the UGC thing that I've made here, but the only difference is at the beginning, there's just a different kind of B-roll. And we've done that essentially 4 times. And this is the exact same strategy we deployed with that other example that I showed for another client. And this took us, like I said, maybe a few minutes to do, but it's something that has crushed it and that's worked very, very well for us. And how you set these up are actually really simple. So for example, let's say I was to launch one of these tests, I would definitely recommend doing it in a separate campaign. Kind of like you saw here, this is all one campaign, and every single one of these are intro tests. It just helps you kind of keep track of everything. And how I would actually end up setting this up is I would take the core winner that we had tested, and I would start with probably testing at least 4 to 10 different intros. My goal every week, my KPI is to try to test 10 intros every week, depending on what offer I'm working on. And they don't really need to be super high budgets because you're only testing the first few seconds. So it's really just about proving out which one works, getting rid of the other ones, and scaling the rest. So you'll basically have something like this. And then how I usually do my naming conventions is I would put in whatever the date is. I would say that it's an intro test. And then from there, I'd maybe just give some idea of what the audience is and anything else I'd want to hear. And then at the ad level, I would put whatever like the description of the video is. So let's just say it was like ad 1, and then I would say intro headphones, just something to describe it. And I'll usually set these ones up at a budget of around $15 to $35 a day. Let them run for a couple days. Keep an eye on the click-through rates, cost per link clicks, all that good stuff, and then scale what works and get rid of what doesn't. So it's a really simple setup, and it's all just in changing the first few seconds of a video. So that's really an easy way to do that. Now, what if you don't have videos? What if you need to change the copy and test copy instead? So you can do that by, I'm gonna pull up the copy here. So you can do that within the primary text section. So I'm gonna go in here and pull some hook examples just to kind of show you guys. And once again, you can grab this in the group totally for free. So say you were running an ad, and let me just pick a random image. So you can see here that initial line, that's the lead in, and that's the biggest thing that people are going to see. So whatever you're typing in here, usually people see the first 3 lines, but if you do like a little space out like that, people will really only see 2 lines. So keep that in mind when you're writing copy. You can actually bunch everything together and get a little bit more real estate, which is super valuable. But if not, those first few lines is the first thing that you're going to want to edit, along with potentially the headline. And if you're struggling to come up with ideas for that, I want to give you a really easy way to leverage what other people are using to get better results and to come up with your hooks. So you'll see, once again, this is in the group. You can grab this AI prompt, and we've been using this tool called GenSpark, which is really cool, and they have this super agent. And what you'll do is you'll plug in this prompt, and I'll just look up stuff around, I don't know, a Tesla Cybertruck. And the interesting thing with this prompt is, we'll take a second to go through, but it favors videos based off of views and based off of engagement in relation to channel size. So it's really going to go after YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, etc., and it'll find videos that have a ton of views, even if they don't have a lot of followers or a lot of subscribers. And what makes that so important is it means that you're going to base your hook research and what you actually write new hooks as or make new video hooks for. You're basing it off of something that actually went viral, but not because of someone having 1 million followers or 1 million subscribers, which is really, really important. And that's a very easy thing you can do. This will obviously generate a ton of really great ideas, and I'll get back to those in a moment. But those are 2 very simple ways that you can take your ads, adjust a few hooks, adjust something at the beginning, and get a lot different results. So as those generate, and as we finish out the video, what does actually testing these winners really look like? So here's how to test fast and then scale your winners. First things first, try to get into a routine of developing some KPIs around what you want to make, how many you want to make, and how you want to make them, of different assets. I would recommend starting off with 3 to 5 different intros a week, maybe 1 to 2 copy variations every week, and then 2 to 3 brand new creatives. Set small budgets, and you could even try using campaign budget optimization, where you're doing a big budget at the top and it's dividing across a lot of ad sets. I would only recommend doing that if you're very, very short on budget, because you're really letting Facebook do a lot of the optimization there, which isn't bad. But in my experience, I like every single ad to spend an equal amount and prove to me whether something is a winner or not, versus assuming Facebook knows everything, although it's very smart. But Facebook has been wrong plenty of times in CBO campaigns. Identify those winners, let the data figure out which ad performs best, and then just scale them. What I usually do is I'll scale by 15 to 20% every day or every other day, or dump them into a CBO campaign to scale specifically. So it's a really easy way to take everything that you've been testing and scale it up and get more results, just like that example that I showed you. So you can see here the AI agent, let me move my screen here, came up with a couple really good hooks for us based off of viral video analysis. And all we did to come up with these hooks is plug in a super simple AI prompt. Once again, you can get that totally for free if you join this group here. It's just gonna make this video 10 times more valuable for you. So you can see here, top performing videos, it kind of goes over those, and then it gives you the key patterns. So super short video length is important, high engagement hooks, so questions that trigger curiosity, what happens if blank, 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 connected to Elon Musk, transformation modification concepts, unexpected situations or scenarios, etc., etc. And then there's a lot of emotional triggers it's saying as well. So getting locked out of a Cybertruck, a surprise about a Cybertruck, unexpected situations, so on and so forth. And it kind of gives some recommendations for making some good content if you were making content for a Cybertruck. So this is a really great tool that now you could take this, write new copy based off of proven hooks, or you could film a very short intro hook to go along with these things and tack them on at the beginning of your ad, just like I showed previously. I hope you enjoyed this video. These are very easy ways to take your ads to the next level, and we found this triples clicks and having the cost while not really needing to spend that much money to figure it out and not needing to spend much time either. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. I will be uploading this video into this group 100% for free, and you can get the resources that I mentioned to go along with it, which I think will help you a lot faster. I'll see you in the next one.